Hi everyone, today's video is going to be very interesting and very disturbing because the case that has come before us today is considered one of the most disturbing ideology-based murder cases in America. In this case, a boy first changed his religion and later murdered both his roommates. This case is in Tampa, Florida state, where this case has come before us. An 18-year-old boy named Devan Arthurs. Devan Arthurs murdered both his roommates on 19 May 2017, but the boy's name is Jeremy Himmelman, whose age was 22 years. And the second was Andrew Onshuk, whose age was 18 years. These teen friends lived in the same apartment. Both were members of a neo-Nazi extremist group called the Atomwaffen Division. Devan Arthurs himself had previously been a part of this group, but later converted to Islam and said that his roommates were making fun of his new religion. This made me angry, and I lost control, and in that anger, I finally killed them. Let's watch Devan Arthurs' interview and see what he said in his interview, and what mysterious things have come to light.
Hi, I have a Caucasian guy saying that he just killed two people.
It sounds like you became enraged, right?
I guess you could say that, but I was also intensely in fear. You can be in fear and be enraged at the same time, David. Would you agree with that? No, you're dodging the question, David. You're dodging the question.
I'm not here to be interviewed. You've agreed to be interviewed. In 2017, Devan Arthurs was a psychotic young killer with a head full of hate and a hair trigger.
Screw that camera, screw everybody else. I'm not trying to be hostile with you, David. You know, I really do appreciate you coming out here to see me.
I'm afraid he's going to start shooting people.
You told the police, and I just blasted him, and he shot in the chest, and I double tapped. Double tap meaning?
I would imagine that would mean...
You don't have to imagine. You know what you did.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
It means that I killed him.
You shot him twice in the head.
Yeah.
What rifle?
The AK-47.
Right in the Jeremy's room, and then I looked his face. It's blown off.
You consider yourself a terrorist? By the definition of what I've done.
Now this self-described former terrorist is talking for the first time about the strange mix of malice and madness that drove him to kill. Is Andrew witnessing this?
Yes.
And is he in the line of fire?
Yes.
And he's answering for the bloody rampage that took 2 lives. Where did you shoot him?
I don't remember.
How many rounds did you fire?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I don't like to think about things.
There's blood everywhere. Yeah? The smell of gunpowder and smoke?
Yeah.
I just went.
He's walking towards a shopping area. He's grabbing the backside of his pocket.
I could have killed everybody in that building, and I didn't. I could have killed those 2 officers, and I didn't.
You think you should get some kind of credit for not killing people?
I'm telling you that that wasn't my intent, so don't try to frame it that that was my intent.
A deeply disturbed mind, on display for all to see, and under the influence of violent online extremists. Let me ask you this. Did you say that you're sane or insane?
a white Caucasian guy. He came to the office saying that he just killed 2 people.
On May 19, 2017, in Tampa, Florida, the manager of a gated condo complex dialed 911.
Do you see a weapon on him? Oh my God. Oh yeah, he definitely, I think he has.
18-year-old Devan Arthurs had just snapped, shooting and killing 2 roommates with a Russian army rifle. The double murder shocked and confused the Tampa Bay community.
This is quite a bizarre case.
According to the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, this is his first adult arrest.
Local news reports focused on how such a teenager got himself mixed up with the wrong people.
And killed his roommates because they were neo-Nazis.
This is a case that has a lot of people scratching their heads. What would drive an 18-year-old young man to kill 2 people?
Forensic psychiatrists quickly diagnosed him as schizophrenic and bipolar. His peculiar behavior was all over the news.
Everyone in the courtroom got a first-hand look at Arthurs appearing to choke himself to the point of unconsciousness.
And investigators probed a dangerous intersection between a deranged young man and the world of online terrorism.
Like, I'm sympathetic with groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS and stuff like that.
Arthurs pleaded guilty to 2 counts of second-degree murder and met his punishment.
I will adjudicate him guilty. I will sentence him to 45 years in Florida State Prison.
I've hurt my family significantly. I've hurt friends and family of the victims as well.
2 years into his prison sentence, deep in the pine forests of Northwest Florida, Arthur says he's ready to talk for the first time about his madness. We're starting now. Good. His mayhem and his murders. I want you to know that we're here talking to you today to try and understand the mindset and motivation behind your actions in this case, okay? I'd like to ask you, why are you here today talking to us?
I wanted people to know the full context and the scope of what occurred and why it occurred. I really wanted to get the truth across.
What Arthurs believes is true changes with the shifting sands of a troubled mind. But his story starts in an ordinary home in Orlando, Florida. In 2014, Devan Arthurs' father was just about fed up with his teenage son's bizarre antics. The boy spent way too much time alone in the dark reaches of the internet. Then one day, a package arrived containing a book. A copy of Mein Kampf?
Yes, I ordered it on Amazon.
You were how old?
I was 14.
The book was, of course, Adolf Hitler's infamous manifesto. And for Arthur's father, it was the last straw. And he confronts you. What does he say?
He says, we don't have this in our house and stuff like that. Keep in mind, people are telling me, oh, well, anybody that tries to basically tell you against the party line is an enemy and a traitor.
Arthur's father threw him out, and soon the troubled boy dropped out of school and even further down the rabbit hole of online extremism. He now claims he was easy prey for the domestic terror movement because of his mental disorders.
They exploit the flaws and the cracks that you can find. I was vulnerable because of mental illness. When you look at people that have issues that are not neurotypical, they get driven into these movements because they're drawn into it.
So you're saying that you were essentially captive to this movement?
No, what I'm saying is absolutely yes.
Because the record suggests a lot of volition on your part. You realize that, right?
Volition pretty much in the context of how?
Well, you were a willing participant. The record shows that Arthurs was not naively led astray, but one of the group's leaders, actively promoting the movement and its hate-mongering, alongside his mentor, a young neo-Nazi named Brandon Russell, who called himself Odin.
To all the outsiders who try to hinder our efforts, I say this to you. I created something beautiful. Beautiful things scaring people.
I've read some of your posts. Truly despicable stuff.
They are despicable.
And Jews,
yeah,
bad
that's
news.
Wrong.
You wrote those words?
I did. Because
all
people
Jews
were telling
are
me
subversive. It's in their nature.
And that was wrong.
How about this? We's taking yo women's.
Wrong.
Think again.
Wrong.
Oil drilling is just as gross as coal burning. Both create mongrels.
Yes, that's wrong.
Those were your terms for interracial sex and mixed race children.
Yes,
right?
it was.
You wished ill on whole groups of people.
It's easy to...
People like me. Mongrels like me.
And it was wrong.
And neither of your own parents had as much influence as...
No, because they capitalized on trying to turn me against my own family. That's what ISIS does. That's what the Nazis do. They're evil. They are the epitome of evil.
Well, you say they, but you were in it. You were part of it.
I fell for a lie, David.
In fact, Arthurs fell for two. Within a year, the troubled teen went from one extreme to another, literally. First marching in lockstep with the neo-Nazi movement, and then suddenly paying allegiance to the terrorist Islamic State.
I'll be honest, I'm sympathetic with groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS and stuff like that.
In one breath, you're wishing your online buddies Happy Führer Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the next, you're defending ISIS. Do you see how bizarre that is?
It's very bizarre. They filled my brain with violence, and David, I was coerced by it.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
But the truth may lie not in which brand of hateful terror Arthur says he believed in when, but how his deranged mind was wired for both extremes, and ultimately for murder. So do you think that it is part of your mindset, your personality, your mental state that you are given to extremes?
Well, yes, sir.
On May 19, 2017, Devan Arthurs' lethal mix of mental derangement and violent manifesto was about to explode. By then, he was living with Brandon Russell in the inconspicuous condo that served as the group's headquarters. Two young recruits had just moved in, unaware that Arthurs was drifting ever closer to a new extremist cause and a killing spree. There's a growing tension in the household.
Correct.
And you're cleaning your rifle.
Yes.
What rifle?
The AK-47.
Devon, tell me in as much detail as you can recall what happened that night.
Officers entered the apartment to check for victims. They discovered